Anybody that may be here. I know I'm always brushing my hair in a video. I don't think about it until I get in front of the camera and see what I look like. But anyhow, I'm having a rough time today. I feel weepy and I just feel like crying. I think what happens is I go through all the stuff, the stress, the situations, and when it's over with, that's when I break down. I I think a person, well, for instance, I witnessed a really bad motorcycle accident. A woman's leg was sheared off by a guardrail, and I was able to get there, put the tourniquet on, and just handle everything nice and calm. When the EMS and everybody got there and she was handled, she was okay. That's when I broke down, screaming and crying. I don't know why I do that. I'm sure there's other people too that can just handle the situation and then freak out afterwards. It's like there's something in your brain that just kicks in and goes into drive, and without even thinking, we just react. So, yeah. So instead of sitting there feeling sorry for myself, I'd come on here and feel sorry for myself. Just kidding. Um, I did my nails last night. Well, you can see it in the video. And I told you I've been getting this Wet and Wild. This is a gel. And I don't know if it's just because it's a fluorescent color, but this is actually 4 coats to make it look like the color in the bottle. It's insane. It's just so. It's like the color goes on, but then it like separates and it becomes clear underneath of it. It's really weird. So I put on uh, a coat and then I let it dry. So, no, the first coat wasn't tacky when I put the second one on, but I'm feeling like at that point it's got to stick to itself. And as it dried, I watched it just see my nail coming through it, the appearance of my nail. Like, all right, so I put a third coat on. And the more coats you put on in the nail polish, the longer it takes to dry, and you risk the chance of just gouging it and whatever. Because it might feel dry, but then underneath it's still wet and it can shift. So after the third coat, I put on my quick dry stuff, hoping that would penetrate inside of there while I put the fourth coat on. Quick dry itself dries instantly. So I let the nails set for a little while. I didn't think to put them in my nail. I've got one of those nail things. It's the light to dry them, not the fan. And I don't use that kind of polish. My husband bought it for me when he bought me the nail polish set. So, and I do use it. It doesn't matter. Well, I should have used that to maybe help it bake in better, but it doesn't matter. I change my nail polish probably twice a week. Um, so, yeah, well, then I finally put the last color on, and it looks good from far away, but up close, I can still see my nail. That's the craziest thing. I paid $1.96 for it. I guess I get what I pay for. But I really like these bright colors. I think they're nice when it's summertime and I want to wear my colorful clothing. Um, I am a colorful dressing person. Um, the things I want to wear are kind of out there, color wise, pattern wise. I remember back in high school, I went to this shop downtown and I bought this short and shirt set. And the shirt buttoned down the front, it had a collar and the shorts. And they fit a little bit loose on me, and that's the way I like to wear my clothes. And I didn't think anything of it. I really liked it. I went home, and my dad says, "Well, let me see what you bought." So I was so happy. I put it on and came downstairs. I thought he was gonna spit out his coffee everywhere. He goes, "Where did you get that clown outfit?" It had vertical stripes, and the stripes were, I don't know, maybe a quarter inch wide. So it was white, but then it had the stripes were colored pink and yellow and baby blue. It's like fluorescent colors. Somebody else said they looked like pajamas, but they weren't. So my taste in clothes is very strange. I bought these pants at Walmart. Um, I like stretchy pants, but I don't like the like yoga pants and that. I think those are tacky. Um, if you don't have a perfect body, take them off. I'm telling you, from the backside, from being in a wheelchair so long, I got to see everybody's butts in my face. You're just at that level. And I'm here to tell you, those things go up your butt crack. I can see all your cellulite on the back of your thighs. You ain't kidding anybody. They don't look right. So, anyhow, I like stretchy material. Maybe not as thin as that, but I bought a pair of pants. They're black, but they've got, you know what paisleys are? They got pink. It's like, I don't know how to, you know how paisleys go and they got all these decorations. Well, it's a little bit of burgundy. There's some different colored pinks in there, and they just cover the pants. My husband hates those pants, but they're so comfortable, and I like the design. He's like, no. I say yes, and I usually wear a black top. I mean, I don't dress crazy. It's just my clothing is a little bit loud. Like, I don't know, like this is pajamas though. So yeah, gosh, talking about this stuff is cheering me up already. Um, shoes. I love wearing the brand I had was Double H, and I don't know what you call them, cowboy boots, western boots, whatever. But Double H had the softest sole. You didn't feel like you were wearing boots at all. It was even more comfortable than a tennis shoe. Anyway, they were the lace up kind, and they had the fringe at the bottom of the laces. God, Justin Boots makes them, Ariat makes them, a lot of companies make them now. But anywho, before I had those, I was wearing different kind of shoes. But they had to be comfortable. I couldn't just grab anything, and I couldn't do heels at all. Weak ankles. But I was married the first time. I was wearing military boots because he was in the military. I could get them, and I wore those for a long time. Not every single day. Come on, guys. Not every single day. Not, no. Wasn't one of those dressed like a, uh, my hair, my clothes change all the time. Uh, I have clothes in there that I might wear once a year. Well, my 4th of July shirt I showed you, I have had that since met my second husband in 99, and I got it at Fashion Bug, so that's when they were still open. Gosh, it had to be 97, 98, guys. That gray 4th of July shirt, you saw how perfect it is. The only time I wear it is one day, the 4th of July. Yeah, and the material on it is so nice. I miss Fashion Bug so much, guys. Their prices were really good. Their clothing was really good. I'm really sorry they left. And they refer me to Catherine's online, but their prices are way out of line for what you get. And I used to shop back where I lived in Indiana. There was a, I don't know if you've probably been to one. It's a big mall, but all the stores are outside, and then there's sidewalks that, this one was called the Lighthouse Mall, I think. And they had a store in there called, I knew when I told you it was going to leave me. There was a Levi's outlet store. They carried irregulars and stuff. People would go in there and get their Levi's. Pretty reasonable. Still too high for me. But them Chicago people come from Illinois and shop there, and I guess they thought it was cheap, even. It was a lot of money. Um, Dang, what was that store? It's gone. Just gone. Oh, Dress Barn. That's what it is, Dress Barn. They have some really cute stuff in there, and have kind of my body's strange shaped. Even when I was thin, 130 pounds, I had trouble finding clothes that fit right. I have a high waist, uh, and my chest is, it's almost like I'm barrel chested, big red rib cage. So I didn't look awkward because everything's proportioned. But for instance, when I go to buy a bra, it's very difficult to find a 46 chest size. And when I do find them, the cup size are way out of, way out of line. Um, yeah, it's really difficult to find a bra for me. So, any suggestions, guys, on any place that offers decent? I've been wearing those. I don't know. They call them t-shirt type. They clasp in the front. There's absolutely no support to them, not whatsoever. What's the point of even wearing them, right? So they hold the weight off my shoulders, but you still sag really bad. And if you know, you know. Wire underwires. Oh hell no. And I went on different websites, Amazon, Sheen, Cole, several, and I'd find the perfect bra, exactly size, exactly cup, um, supportive. And then I almost buy it, but I look again, and it has the plastic ribs on the side. Yeah, I could probably just cut it out, but why would I want to? Why do I want to cut on a brand new bra when I could have just bought one without it? And the decent bras are not inexpensive. I saw bras in there for over $100. Well, as often as I wear, I don't wear them out. That's for sure. I treat them like my clothes. They come off when I get home and they go on when I leave. So it's not like they're going to get a whole lot of wear and tear on them. Um, isn't this a nice conversation about bras? Let's talk about panties. No, no, I'm just kidding. Um, but the shoes, yeah. And then I found these dress shoes. Now, I have a hard time finding shoes that fit. I don't have a strange size or anything. They're 8.5, 9, depending on the shoe. But the thing is, the top of my foot comes up so far that when I go to put my foot in a shoe, it don't want to go past there. And then when I find them that do, maybe they've got elastic on top or something, it actually starts cutting into my skin and is really uncomfortable. So I found a pair of sandals that they have the Velcro. You can adjust it across the toe, across the top, and in the back. So those are working for me. Earth Shoe. And that has been my go to brand. So I found these dress shoes, and they're casual dress. They're just like a smooth brown, like a brown pair and a black pair. They're sliding. They've got a like a wedge heel on them. I told you I can't wear heels. These do not bother me whatsoever. They are as comfortable as wearing tennis shoes, but with a heel on it. And I don't want to sound like a commercial, but if you're older, you like to hear these things. Give me the goodies, give me the tips, right? So I haven't had any responses talking about tips. I posted in some of my groups last night about has anyone ever stained in polyurethane floor before? And I haven't had any responses yet. But this weekend, people usually maybe spend more time on the weekends online, so I'm hoping I get a few comments. There have been some people that like the comment. I think sometimes people do that because they'd like to know the answer themselves or they're interested in that out of curiosity or, yeah, something like that. So, new nail polish. I was talking about the nail polish before. So, I'm thinking about switching from the Wet and Wild. If you guys know of a good place online, Walmart's got other brands, but not very much selection. There's like two or three other brands. That's it, and a lot of them are over $12 a bottle. So that's way out of my budget. Um, they only have a couple of different colors at the Dollar General, and their colors I already have in different shades. So I don't want to do that. I never thought I would like black nail polish, but some came with this kit that Michael bought me, and let's see, it's getting old. It's starting to clump in that. Gosh, it's got to be 3 years old, and I was changing my nail polish every day, sometimes twice a day, because I just loved it. Um, I did. I still love it, but a lot of them I can't wear anymore. They're just too far gone. Um, and it's probably from dipping dipping in the polish and then going over my base coat, and maybe it wasn't dry and it got some in that bottle. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that really. Um, Mike made me some new tea, um, a new jug of tea today. And I think I told you last time that it was a little weak, and he was he was really concerned if I was gonna like it. Well, I finished it up today. That's been over a week ago. And after he poured me the last glass, he never does this. But today he waited for me to drink that last glass, and he ran in here and he started making tea right away. I tell you, he was like a little chemist in here. He was totally involved. I would ask him questions from the other room and he'd say, I'm busy, I'm busy. So he was really focused on that. And he brings me a glass and he's like, try this. He's so serious. Like a chemist, like a scientist tried. He's like, try this. So I took a sip of it. This was with no ice in it, but it wasn't hot. It was like lukewarm. And I'm not lying, that was the best tea I've ever had. It really was. I just looked at him with my eyes open. I said, OMG, said, what did you do? He said, it's just black tea and green tea and sugar. I said, no, there's something else. You got lemon in it, right? He said, yeah, some lemon juice. But it's amazing. I like to drink I think I told you this, I get the Lipton bottles. They're the tall bottles. I don't know, maybe a liter or something. Anyway, I get them at the Dollar General for like a buck 25. And that's a good deal because if you go anywhere, even Walmart, you want to grab a bottle of tea or soda, it's $3, $4 now. It's crazy. So yeah, I just go ahead and make Dollar General my stop when I'm on the way to the store. If I know I'm gonna get thirsty. I actually take a drink from home, but sometime, most of the time, I'm out soon after I get to town. And what's been happening is every time I walk, like I was doing all that walking, good golly, I get so thirsty. So, speaking of thirst, I filter my water. I think I told you I'm kind of anal about it. Um, I get the bottled water from Walmart in the 5 gallon jug. I refill them there and I put them in my water cooler. Then I take it out of the water cooler and I run it through uh, another filter before I use it. So that's the water my cat gets. That's the water we drink. We use for our tea and our whatevers. Um, the ice cubes I've been making with the tap water that we don't use. I use my little ice maker over there where I put that filtered water into. But the tap water is fine for putting the ice in my ice machine. I call it. That's the machine or the device that circulates ice water to the knee wrap. Yeah, keep it cold. So, but I've noticed there's a nasty film in there from that water. I said, I'm glad I don't drink that junk. It's like it almost looks like dried sour milk. It's kind of yellow and white, and I honestly believe they just pump it out of the lake here. And this lake used to be farmland. So everything that's underneath of it is probably cars and tractors and houses and all these different things. God knows gasoline and everything else is under that water. So they stock the things. This it's huge. I'm making it sound like a little pun, but no, it's big. And there's certain areas when you're boating out there that you can't go because the stuff's too close to the surface. Well, anyway, they stock these lakes with fish, and people are fishing there year round, partner all day and night. I don't think I've ever gone through there without seeing somebody fishing, um, unless it was a bad blizzard or something. But there's no light out there, no street lights or anything. So, it's nothing to see them in the summertime with a light on their boat or something. But anyway, my point is they're eating that fish out of there. And my one caregiver, her husband does the tours for people for fishing and hunting and that. And she's talking this up, it's such a big money maker and everything. And I was just sitting there quiet. And she even made fish dinner and she brought it over. I says, "Where'd this fish come from?" She goes, "I don't know." I said, "Well, if you don't know, I don't want to eat it." And she said, "Well, some guy traded John, that's her husband's name, these perch because they were small for his big walleye or whatever it was. It doesn't matter." And I said, "Lake perch?" And she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Where'd he get it from? Where'd they get it from?" And she goes, "Oh, I don't know." But she knew how I felt about fish from out there. So I said, "Oh, just leave it. Just leave it." I need it. Mm-mm. And she made potato salad, but the potatoes were raw. And I asked her about it the next time she came over. I go, "You use raw potatoes?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, that's the way John likes it." Well, different strokes for different folks, right? I don't mind raw potatoes, but I'd like a warning and let me know what I'm eating beforehand. Yeah, that was nothing for me as a kid, even when I was older, growing my own garden to dig one up and just brush the dirt off and bite into it. No big deal. Oh, same with tomatoes, green beans, anything. My turnips, I didn't do that way. I love turnips. They're my alternative to potatoes. Being diabetic, you can't have a lot of carbs, right? So the turnips for me is a good alternative. It kind of tricks me into thinking I'm having a baked potato. I just boil them on the stove. Um, you can peel them. I don't bother peeling them. The skin's so darn thin on them. But I do cut the root off and the top off. And then I just boil it and then I just cut it and smash it out like a mashed potato or like a baked potato or something. Boiled potato. What am I saying baked for? I've never tried baking them. Um, Now, I have had baked squash. I never thought to eat squash. It just wasn't, it didn't seem appealing to me. I didn't know what it tasted like. Well, a friend had butternut squash, and she taught me. She showed me she was making it for dinner, and I was kind of like, "I don't think so." She's like, "Oh, just try it." And my mom used to say, "Just try what she called a brownie bite." Girls before there had Girl Scouts there and brownies, right? So she called it a brownie bite. And so I was thinking that in my head, what she used to tell me when I was little. And I was thinking, you can do it. Just take a little brownie bite. And when I tasted it, I was amazed at how good it was. It made me feel good physically inside. It was really different. But the way she did it was she baked it with butter and brown sugar, which probably wasn't the best. But so I started doing that. Somebody would bring it out of their garden or whatever, but I would add some cinnamon to that brown sugar, and that was really good. Uh, yeah, I've I tried spaghetti squash. Somebody had it, and I thought, "Ooh, this is gonna be good." I did not care for it that much as far as texture. The taste was kind of meh, and it wasn't gross or anything. It's just not a food I would prefer to eat. Uh, Man, I'm bloated up. Sorry, guys. I look like I'm huge. I'm really not as big as I look in this little camera. I tell you, I go like that, and it's like my chest and everything is so big. I'm really not that, not like that. Um, yeah. Mike's having a rough night. Um, he's at work. I told him, hang in there. It's gonna work out for your guy. I don't think he wanted to hear that right then. It wasn't the right time. So I'm gonna have to be apologizing to him when he comes home, or maybe I just won't say anything and just let him do his thing. That seems to work out best for us. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but we're both Pisces. We both really empathetic people, highly sensitive people. I think in different ways. We're sensitive in different things, different ways sometimes, and like today. Um, He comes sit out here. I'm sitting in the bedroom. And a lot of times I would feel guilty. I'd be like, am I taking over the TV? Or because he'll usually just give me the remote, watch what I want to watch. So I invited him in there. I said, well, come on, let's watch something you want to watch. He goes, I don't want to watch anything. So that kind of stuff makes me feel, I think about it, makes me, I get uncomfortable. I start feeling antsy, like I've done something to make that person feel bad. And what I'm working on now in therapy is that how someone else reacts or does something is not my problem. It has nothing to do with me. So it's been this way my whole life. So it's a lot of work to reprogram that a little bit. So anyway, what I was saying is we both have these times where we just want to be with the other one, just close and joking around and stuff. But then we get this time where I just want to be alone or leave me alone. Um, and I think I've mentioned that before too about being highly sensitive is these kind of people that are born this way, we really value our alone time. That's the time we got to shut down and take care of ourselves and prepare for the next, I call them battles, the next battle. Um, the reason I call it that is I can see a person suffering and I got to hold myself back. Don't get involved. Don't offer help when it's not asked for. Okay, that's the first battle. Another battle could be if someone comes into my space, which happens a lot, happens in public places, it happens in doctors' offices. I will just be minding my own business, and someone will just walk up to me and just start telling me their whole life story. And I was talking to Jen about it, and she said that happens to her a lot too. She said she could be at a wedding, anything, and there's always somebody that will come see her sitting by herself and just want to share. She says she thinks it may have something to do with our body posture. We're sitting with, sitting back, we're not sitting like this, or with our back to things like turning like this way. Um, so you have an open expression, open body language, and that can be inviting people in that weren't necessarily invited into your space. I have been noticing this happening less since the surgery and having to be with a cane. And I think that that's because people can see that I'm having my own thing going on. That seems most logical to me. Like I wouldn't have time for them or something. And most people really don't want anything to do with you unless they need something from you. Well, that's been my life experience. I've had friends for a lot of years. Um, yeah, even in my own family, it's like I would always be the one to call them. And it's that way with Mike's family. No, none of his family call him to see how he's doing. Like I told you, his one relative, we hadn't spoke to her in 2 or 3 years, and we finally found her. Got a hold of her. What's going on? And so yeah, it feels like if we don't chase them down, we're not gonna see them or talk to them. And I was having, is this a bad thought? Is this a dirty thought that I was having, guys? I was thinking if Mike passed, would I tell anybody? No. I actually told myself that today. You're not going to tell anybody about it. You're going to wait to see if they ever call you or call him. And when they ask for him, oh, he passed back in whatever year it was. Was that mean? Don't have anything to do with me when I was alive. I'm gone now. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can say to me. If you want to come, it's a selfish decision. It's for yourself. It's not for me. The older I get, the stranger I get. I've seen that. I'm seeing that in the things that I think and say. You know, we just reach a point, I think, at 50 that we just don't give a damn. And I've seen my mother before. She's up in her 70s now. Absolutely no filter, you guys. If she thinks it comes flying out. Yeah, it was funny. Sometimes some of the stories I could tell you about her doing that embarrassed me so bad. She did it with a police officer. I thought, oh hell, she's going to jail. I really did. Um, she had a very good point. It was a lockout job, and the cop had been trying. Well, his tool was stuck in the door, so the guy called her, and my mom had to get the cop's tool out of the door, then put hers in there and get it unlocked. Well, she had it all done and the tool out by the time the cop came back, and she was walking back to her van with the tools in her hand, and she threw him in the van, and we were leaving, and he said, "Hey," he goes, "do you have my lockout tool?" And she kind of goes off on him. She says, "Would you arrest me for portraying to be a cop?" And he says, "Well, yeah." And she said, "Well, can I arrest you for portraying to be a locksmith?" I wanted to crawl under that van, you guys. I was so embarrassed. To Mom, you're smart talking a cop. Please don't. Oh, but he was mad. He took that. She gave him the tool, and he took it, and he opened his trunk, and he threw that tool in there, and he slammed that trunk so the lid shut so hard. I thought his back window would break. He got in and squealed his. I thought, oh Lord, Mama. So I said, remind me not to go on lockouts with you anymore. I don't know what's gonna happen. Um, Going with her made me tough though, because I know there was a couple of times I had kind of scary situations. I was at a lockout, or not a lockout, a foreclosure actually, and there was nosy neighbors. They wanted to come in. They wanted to go through the house. They they were looking for stuff they wanted, and I wouldn't let them in the house. And I was standing at the door doing the lock, and they're asking me if I could let them in to walk around, and I said absolutely not. Um, these are people's personal belongings in here. They're not garage sale items or something for you to go through and pick and choose what you want to. So a couple of them came up on the porch with me, and I yelled at them. I said, "Get the f out of here! You got no business here. You don't leave them calling the cops. You're trespassing, basically." They were. So one guy was getting smart with me, and he goes, "Well, you're here." And I said, "Well, I'm supposed to be here. I'm working." Um, and that goes for anybody that's maintaining the lawn or checking on the house. We're working. So, yeah, those kind of situations got me really nervous, especially being by myself. Soon after that, I started just bringing my dog with me all the time because I really don't think she'd hurt anybody, but she was a pretty good sized lab, and she barked at people um, when she thought they were doing something wrong. So I thought that would be enough to deter somebody, and it was. Um, because I had her in the car so much, basically lived in the car, we were in it so much, that became her territory. And so she would bark at people that walked close to the car. But one night we were sitting in a parking lot. Had worked late at a job, and I was so starving. I stopped at a gas station, got something to eat. We're sitting in the car. It's hot. I got the windows down. And I didn't keep her on a leash. There were certain times I did, but not in the car. I knew she wasn't going anywhere. Well, out of nothing, she starts this ferocious barking. I mean, like an attack dog would. I jumped. I didn't hear her bark like that before. And her teeth, I could hear her snarling and stuff. And I couldn't see past her to see what she was barking at. But all the hair was standing up on her back, and her tail was straight out. And I thought, what the heck? And I heard a man's voice saying, "Oh, it's okay." And she lunged. She was going to get this guy. And I said, don't put your hand in here. She'll bite. "Oh, she's a lab. She won't bite." I go, like hell. I said, "She's telling you right now to back off the car." And so he walked around to my side, and she come up over across from me and pushed me back in the seat and was getting him through the window, getting at him that way through the window. She didn't leave the car, but she was not letting him invade that space. And she was very good. Um, I really felt confident going on jobs then after I had her. I would leave her in the car with all the windows down, whether it was 100 degrees or 30 degrees. because what she would do is she wouldn't move. She wouldn't leave the vehicle unless I called her. And if I called her, I could be out in the woods. I could be back in the house, the back of the house. She'd jump out the car and come to where I was at. So if somebody pulled in the driveway, she let me know. So I didn't have anybody sneaking up on me. Not that they were sneaking, but you're not expecting anybody to walk around. And usually, well, she knew the realtor that I worked with, and she knew another locksmith guy that he lived far away from me. He lived in Peru, Indiana, and I lived up in Knox. Oh, her much, maybe 2 hours away. But once in a while, we met up and exchanged notes and things, especially about maybe a customer that we had problems with. We talk. So, or who pays and who doesn't. Talking about businesses. So, usually they would say, my dogs say, they say, "Oh, Ginger," and I could hear them and know that, yeah, somebody was there, but she would stop barking and she would, dogs whine and they wiggle and everything when they see somebody they know. And, they would stop at the car and pet her, rough her up, rough her little hair, whatever. And, so she was invaluable to me that way. Just I miss her so bad. I wouldn't be able to handle her right now because of the way she was getting so. Um, she was going blind with the cataracts and arthritis in the hips and stuff. So I put her down before I had to see her that bad. Um, I thought that it was giving her dignity, and yeah. So anybody can come at me about that. I don't care. It doesn't bother me one bit. Um, I have seen people with animals. There is one lady in particular. She feeds her dog human food all the time. I don't have a problem with a dog eating chicken or beef or steak or whatever, but don't put anything on it. Just give it to them raw. Just because what we can tolerate, they can't. And honestly, if your dog was in the wild, they would eat roadkill or anything else. So, um, but that's still natural. It's not, it doesn't have all these preservatives in it, right? That's why it rots. And so, anyhow, I had this problem with my dog, the one I was just talking about. On the back, right around her hip area, in front of it, on top of it, and behind it, kind of down towards her tail. She had this place where she was so itchy and the skin was so hot, and looked like psoriasis or the skin's peeling up. Well, the vet he told me what it was, and he gave her medication for it. It didn't clear up. Um, Give her Benadryl, it didn't help. She was just miserable. She would lick it till it would bleed. It was just terrible. And I was talking to my friend that, well, she was a realtor and owned a tax store. So I went to her store to buy my horse feed and that. And we were talking about it one day. She goes, "Can you bring her in?" And I said, "Yeah." I brought her in there with me. And which consisted of opening the store door and calling her in because I left my windows down. She stayed in the car. So she came in there and she says, "I know exactly how to treat that." And she goes, "You need this dog food right here." And I was like, "You're trying to sell me dog food?" She goes, "No, I'm serious, Jen." And what it is, you get the high, here's the trick. It doesn't matter what brand it is, but You want the highest protein and the fatty acids, the omega 3s that you can get. That's what dogs need, the proteins for the muscles, the omega 3s for the fat. It's that simple. Y'all give too much money to these businesses, dog food companies, I tell you. So, anyhow, that dog food happened to be made by Joy, Joy. I've looked for it on Chewy and stuff. They do have Joy dog food, but they didn't have that particular kind. I was going to buy some. Uh, a friend of mine that owns a used car dealership here in town, um, he's got one of those. Oh, I almost say it wrong. Weinreimers or whatever, those silvery looking dogs. And I was sitting there in the shop talking with him, and the dog came, and my hand, it was walking under my hand. When I got to that part on its back, I knew exactly what that was. That was the same thing my lab had. And he said, "Yeah, the vet's been giving me medicine." I said, "The medicine don't work, does it?" He goes, "No. It was actually, I think it's worse." I said, "Yeah, that's what it is." And so I told him about it, and I said, even if you go to Walmart and get the omega 3 gels and just get the fish oil, whatever, and either stick them in your dog's food or break them open and put the fat on them, it'll help. So he did that. The next time I saw his dog, oh gosh, it was only like, wasn't even a month, it was about 3 weeks. And the dog had healed significantly. And I said, "Oh, you got it. What'd you do?" And he says, "What you told me to do." He said it was that easy. So, anyway, there's this woman on YouTube, and she's older. And she's got this little dog. She calls it a Chihuahua, but it's not a Chihuahua at all. I don't even think it's mixed with Chihuahua. It's bigger than a Chihuahua. Anyhow, the dog sounds like he's going to have a heart attack. He's breathing like that. And he's so overweight. He probably weighs twice what, or 2.5 times what he should weigh. And he's older. Well, now he's got this skin condition, and she's always telling us, "Oh, he likes the spam. He likes." She goes to these different restaurants, and oh, he really likes that. And I know she's probably doing it because that's her companion. That's probably her best friend. The only thing she has in her life, that's right there. It's not a person, but that's her best friend. And that's the situation. I call you're loving your pet to death, literally. Um, but he's got a skin problem. And, sometimes it's 100 degrees, or she's in Tennessee, and it's very hot and dry or whatever. And you can hear him in the background just crying to her, just whimpering all the time. And "I'm not scratching you. I'm done scratching you." And I just get so upset. I get tight in my throat. My heart starts beating. I just want to help so bad. And so I've made comments on there. I just say, "Well, my dog had that issue, and this is what I did." Well, there's a lot of other people making comments. They don't tell her exactly what I did about what to do about it. They were just making comments. "Oh, you shouldn't feed him French fries. You shouldn't feed him that." Um, because here's the truth, people. Whatever they eat, it's gotta come. It comes off their skin. It's the way the dog system works. It's not like ours. Our food is not formulated for a dog, just like theirs isn't formulated for us. Okay. We can eat it all we want. It's not gonna kill us, but it's not gonna help us either. So yeah, it's that we're different, and You think they're begging you for your food, and they're not. You think they're missing out because they're not getting to eat what you're eating, and they're not. Animals don't think like us. They really don't. My cat, for instance, I'm not her human. I'm her mom. Because the way a cat is, the mom is the one that they get attention from and that plays with them and they're keep them warm at night and they get their food from them. So that's the way a cat thinks. Does she miss me when I'm gone? Yes. Would she miss her mother when she was gone? Yes. Um, would she expect a treat? Would she expect her to? So she does. She communicates with me with her little meows or something. But I can't sit there and say, oh, she wants to tell me or she's saying this or that because no, they don't communicate like we do at all. Um, my dad used to explain a horse understands comfort and discomfort. And if you understand that, you'll be a really good horse trainer. It's not beating and not getting beaten. Okay, for instance, if my horse is acting up, an uncomfortable position for them to do would be nose to tail. So if they're walking too fast, and I'm trying to, and I don't sit there and play tug of war, I just take that energy and recycle it in a loop. So it's uncomfortable, and if they go faster again, I do the same thing. Comfort and discomfort. Now you're going to be comfortable if you just do it this way, and they usually will. A horse's natural stance where they want to be is standing in a pasture somewhere, right? That's the bomb. That's what they would rather be doing. So if you're asking them to exercise and ride and do all the things you want to do, you'll need to reward them with comfort. And what that means is when you're training an animal, when you're training a horse, you let them spend all their energy, do all their acting out and everything, and you just stand there. And when they're done, they'll stop and stand and probably look at you. Just look at you like, now what? And I would just let them stand there for a while. And it's like, I guess we'll just stand here, you know. And if it was a horse that didn't want to be caught, I would start walking sideways towards them a little bit, maybe put my hand out. And if they weren't over it yet, they'd take off and do it all over again. And that's okay because it isn't affecting me. But that's the very basic. When they realize coming to you is the most simple thing they could do, where they can relax and just be comfortable thing, the most comfortable thing they can do, that's where they want to be, is with you. And things that animals do that are silly, that are communicating with you in their ways, is so cute. I love watching cat videos. I just really don't like it. Really turns my stomach to. Let me put it this way. I put a bandana on my dog. To me, that's not dressing them. You can put something on a cat. But when they put clothes on them, they've got their own clothes, sweetheart. It's fur. And I do understand, don't get me wrong, if you own a Chihuahua, a little Min Pin, a Doberman Pinscher, a Boxer, there are animals that have this extremely close, short hair. And when it's 40 below here, and I had a dog, I would definitely put something on them. So, but I hope you know what I'm talking about, the crazy stuff. and people paying more attention and bringing more glory to their pets than people to their children sometimes, their families. Um, yeah, everybody wants an escape, but another hour video, and that's good because I do feel better. Thank you guys for helping me become happier, getting a lot off my mind, and no matter what, everything's gonna be all right. Please like, dislike, subscribe, share with your friends and enemies, and have a happy day. Bye bye.